Originally, I had no desire to lead a replant. The plan and you know, the heart that I think God had given my wife and I was to plant a church in Liverpool. But over a number of different events, it became apparent from being invited by the elders of Ramleys Road Chapel, as it was, to chat with them, that these guys really love Jesus. They really loved him. So in November 2009, Sean and I and our kids, a team of 15 people joined the congregation, and we began the process of replanting Ramleys Road Chapel. One of the things that I shared with the guys was the heart to see intentional discipleship of men, training men and sending men to plant churches. Initially, we're sitting there talking about a church that they think is actually dying, and actually the conversation turns up, okay, we're going to plant loads of churches. So it was a bit of a surreal conversation for us all, but actually that cemented a vision amongst the hearts of men who were in their 60s and their 70s, coming to the twilight years of their lives, cemented a real vision that they could be part of seeing churches planted before their eyes. And by God's grace, all those men are still alive. And by God's grace, all those men are seeing men being trained up. They're seeing gospel communities planted. They've seen churches planted, and churches that are in the plans to be planted. And you know, this has happened in the last years of their lives. When we began the process to replant, we were very much left to do it on our own. I got to know Steve quite well. That began a great relationship with Acts 29 for Cornerstone Church. We just began to develop relationships and just learning so much from other like-minded church leaders and churches. It's just been invaluable.
We're 18 months in to being a little church plant here on the Wirral, and by God's grace we've grown. We're a humble gathering of people, 35 people, and it's humbling to see prayers that were prayed 2-3 years ago kind of become to be answered right in front of our very eyes. We've multiplied gospel communities. We're doing that again. By God's grace, He's bringing men together and teams of people who have a desire to plant more churches. I said this on day one. I said, I'm not planning on going anywhere unless God tells me to. I'm here for 50 years. I'm here for longer if God spares me. And my desire is to see churches planted all over Merseyside and specifically all over the Wirral. Gatherings of God's people singing praise, worshipping God, not just on a Sunday, but in all of their life.
1 Peter 2:9. You are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a peculiar people, so that you may show forth the praises of Him who calls you out of darkness into His marvelous light. I have the righteousness of Christ because Christ became sin. And I have been saved to be part of a people who have been given a joyful task to proclaim the good news of who God is to the world. They're the biggest ones that impact me, my family, and I think the ministry of Cornerstone Church. After a couple of months, we were excited. There was lots of vision. There was lots of growth in terms of loving each other, but we hadn't seen anybody become a Christian. So on the Sunday, we met with the elders. But while we were talking about and while we were praying, one of the other elders came in and he said, there's a young man that's just walked through the door, a Romanian guy, has never been to church before. After a conversation, he turned to me and said, I want to know more about who this Jesus is. I couldn't believe my ears. And from that point, Vlad became a Christian. Vlad and Wanna stayed in Liverpool. They trained. He was an intern for us. And one day Vlad came back from Romania and came up to our office and shared with me that him and Wanna wanted to return to Romania. The reason for wanting to return was that they wanted to see churches planted in Timisoara, which is their city. That was an incredible conversation with that guy. But it was painful. He was one of my best friends, but the Lord was calling him back to his city, the city that when he left, he said he would never return. And today Vlad is there with Warner. They're gathering people, they're slowly trying to plant a church in Timisoara, making connections, and they are where they believe God has called them to be. Sean, my wife and I, we went to a retreat in Wirral, Colorado. When we arrived at the conference, the people that we spotted first were two guys, Josh Curry and Andrew Burkhardt, and we spotted them across the foyer of the hotel because they had these tremendous beards. So obviously we started to talk, and my question was, how long does it take to grow a beard like that? You know, I was in awe of the size of that beard, and that conversation led on to who they were, who we were, what God was doing, and a friendship just exploded. That friendship has grown into an unbelievable partnership. Josh, who's the lead pastor of Frontline Church in Oklahoma City, went home, shared with his elders, and they as a church began to support us with prayer support and with finances. But more importantly, that we had brothers and sisters on the other side of the world that were praying for our city, that were supporting gospel ministry in our city. And we were praying for them, and we were pursuing the Lord for them. That friendship and that support was amazing. Now the finances, they still give to us. By God's grace, that finance is supporting Vlad in Timisoara in Romania. So we're seeing this connection happening from a meeting in a North Face shop in Wirral, Colorado. But it gets even more amazing. Last year, our daughter was diagnosed with an astrocytoma. We were contacted by the hospital and they said, she's got a tumour in her back, we need to bring her in. And by God's grace, we, with Ella, our daughter, and our 3 other children, were sent to Oklahoma City for Ella to receive proton beam therapy. We were loved, we were cared for by the folks at Frontline. God was so gracious, such a loving Father to us as a family, and that is one of the greatest testaments that I have to being part of Acts 29. That we are a network that is about churches planting churches, but we're gospel-centered. And part of that is that God lovingly and graciously cares for his people in and through his people. And we have experienced a love from Acts 29 in a way that I can't describe.